Is it really live? Okay, it's hard to tell because we're on my cell phone for this. So, hi guys. It is Monday, August 10th. That means it is the final day of the Kara Kickstarter. And in about an hour, the 7-inch Kara Kickstarter is going to be over. Kaput! Gone will be your chance to get Lilliputian Living Volumes 1 through 3 from me this year. Gone will be your chance to get a custom Lilliputian portrait of yourself, somebody you love. You could also add your pet as your mount or just as like a familiar. Your crown is just giving up the ghost. Gone will be your chance to get the Kickstarter exclusive wooden charms that I have designed. So you still have an hour to get your copies of 7-inch Kara Volume 1 and 2. You can get it at 7inchkara.com/Kickstarter. But tonight we are here to celebrate because it looks like we're going to be successfully funded, and I wanted to share that moment with you guys. So we have a real, not miniature, not a petit four, not a miniature pecan pie. We have a real cake. We have real flowers. We have real noisemakers. We have more real noisemakers. We have real confetti. We have real candy. We have a real Kara. We've got real balloons because we're gonna have we got a real Bowie, just off camera, because we're gonna have a real launch party with you guys tonight. If it weren't for COVID, I really wanted to have a physical launch party either at Plaza or at one of the local coffee shops and get to know some of you guys who might live in the local area. Unfortunately, we're having a COVID party, but a safe COVID party at home with a limited number of people. So for those of you who miss going to parties and having parties as much as I miss going to parties and having parties, think of this as your party too. I mean, this is basically our wedding party and my birthday party. So Joseph is signaling for me we've got a handy dandy communicado device over here. He's signaling that I should check the chat, to which there is nothing to say. Yay! All right, so, one of the things I wanted to do, though, was give you guys a little bit of a tour of an area I've spent most of my life. So we're in Louisiana. This is Luling, Louisiana, and I wanted to give you kind of a tour of the flower beds that my mom has spent so much time planting and growing over the years, because those environments have provided a lot of inspiration for 7-inch Kara. So let's go ahead and go.
Front and the back. Want me to cover it or just go?
Just go. So one of the reasons, high-pitched screaming. One of the reasons I wanted to share this with you guys is, other than the child screaming at the top of her lungs out of sheer joy of being alive and being able to scream that loud, one of the things I really wanted to share with you guys is just how beautiful the crickets and the cicadas and the birds sound this time of the evening. It's about 7 o'clock where I'm at, so it's not quite sunset. And over here, you'll see some really very large elephant ears. Over here, if you look quickly, you'll see a really heckin' cute Anole who absolutely refuses to be on camera. That's one of the native ones. You can tell because he's smart enough to run away from the camera rather than try to fight the camera. Over here is Remy's apple tree. Remy was our little orange tabby manx who lived with us for 17 years. I got her when I was in high school, and she loved climbing this tree. And I've never seen it produce apples, but it makes beautiful apple blossoms in the late winter. And then we have some blueberry bushes that are just starting to grow. We've got some Indian hawthorn, and they've mostly finished flowering, but you can still see a few flowers here, and they're actually very beautiful as well. I don't know if the berries themselves are edible. That would be something interesting to find out. I know when Joseph and I move here, I really want to have my
Move to Louisiana.
yeah, move to Louisiana. Sorry, I really want to have our beds full of things you can eat. Over here, this is a magnolia tree. It's like a dwarf magnolia variety, and it's no longer in bloom. But what's really cool about this type of magnolia is the blossoms smell just like bananas. And when I was much younger, my grandparents had a big one like this in their backyard, and I would collect the flowers and dry them to use them as like a potpourri. I think this is a fig tree. Although I don't know if it's ever made. This is actually larger than it looks, but it's been recently replanted and it seems to be doing a lot better actually. So over here is the beautiful view of the backyard canal, a common sight in southeast Louisiana. You know, people wonder how we don't just live in water all the time, and it's because we have a lot of drainage options. Behind that is a levee. And on the Lilliputian spotting tour, I told you guys to keep an eye out around here because this is a hot spot for traditionalist Lilliputians because you can just fish in the canal right there. So it's also important to keep an eye out along here because water moccasins and alligators love to hang out in this thing. When I was younger, I had a neighbor who, I'm not even joking, would buy chicken nuggets for the gator who lived in her backyard, which sounds real cute, but is real dangerous.
Somebody said they finally get the name of the little people in 7-inch Kara.
Yeah, it comes from Gulliver's Travels. Well, to Kara, borrowers is an insult. That's like a insulting term for them. So this is a Japanese plum tree. Earlier in the year, you actually get a lot of fruit from this thing. It's kind of dormant right now.
With the Spanish moss.
Yeah, it's a Spanish moss. And if you look closely, you'll see woodpecker marks, like where the woodpecker has drilled in to get bugs out of the tree. I like woodpeckers, but the holes kind of trigger my tryptophobia a little bit. So as much as I like woodpeckers, I can't look at the tree. Crepe myrtle. Oh, this is so Louisiana. You've got your crepe myrtle just covered in Spanish moss. And Spanish moss isn't like typical, it's not a true moss. It's more closely related to air plants. So it absorbs its moisture and most of its nutrients from the air around it. And Spanish moss is actually a really good ecosystem indicator, just like frogs, because since it absorbs everything it needs from the environment, when you have Spanish moss, it's a really good indication that the air and the water are clean. So I used to have a swing set here before that Japanese plum tree. My younger brother has since cut it down because we're not quite the right size to play on it anymore. And this used to be a swing set that my dad had built. Younger brother did the same thing, but I think he got pooped out halfway through. So over here is a hydrangea bush. What's really cool about hydrangea is they change color depending on the soil pH. So you've got, these are dry, they need to be cut off. Let me see if I can find any fresh blossoms. Way over here, you have some really pretty, the color is pretty. They're a little bit insect eaten, but they're like a purplish color. And we have another crepe myrtle. And we have a pond tree. This one's kind of interesting because Hurricane Katrina knocked its predecessor down. My mom had it cut down the rest of the way, and she had someone come and poison the roots, and it still grew back anyway. And I think it's finally old enough to start making pecans.
Yeah, I've seen some on the ground.
Oh, fantastic. I love pecans. So over here is, oh, it smells so nice. This is my mom's gardenia bush. I think I gave her this bush years ago when it was much smaller. And earlier in the year, it's usually covered in beautiful, fragrant white blossoms.
Are gardenias edible?
I don't know. Roses are. I don't know about gardenias.
Do Lilliputians eat flowers?
Yeah. So I actually don't know what this is, but over. Seems like a decent ground cover. It used to be
Jay
all.
says happy birthday, I think, because of all celebratory stuff.
Well, I mean,
Happy successful Kickstarters. Don't worry, Nessie, we reconnected.
this used to be all violets, and violets are edible. The flowers are edible. The leaves are edible. And if you guys look closely at the ground, you'll see all these scurrying little lizards around. Most of those are invasive lizards, though. They came in from Cuba over on banana shipments. So these over here are daylilies, and I found out not too long ago from lab accident that you can actually cook and eat the daylily buds, and they supposedly taste like green beans, and that's something I definitely want to try.
Jay says your dress is nice.
Oh, thank you. So this is a Japanese maple. And then we have some more elephant ears over here. And these are related to taro roots. So you can actually eat the roots of these things.
Those look familiar.
They do. I may or may not have drawn many of them.
And used it in your Kickstarter promotional material.
Yeah, they might look familiar. So these...
How many people do you think recognize them?
I don't know.
I wouldn't say they're iconic.
I feel like I mean I grew up with them down here, so
Yeah.
like I'm very familiar with them. I don't really know.
I feel like cattails are much more iconic of like southern plants.
I guess, yeah, but you don't get so many cattails now because
Yeah, I used to see a lot more when I was younger.
yeah. So speaking of iconic and southern, these are all iris, plants. So these are butterfly irises, and they make these cute little iris flowers. Sago palm doesn't make edible fruits that I know of. These are palladium, so they're related to elephant ears, but they're not elephant ears. This is a very sad crepe myrtle actually. It's covered in lichen. A rubber tree plant. More azaleas. Lots of azaleas. Azaleas grow really well here, but they are actually imported from like Japan originally. They're not like a North American flower. More irises, and then over on that frog statue, you've got one of the invasive Cuban anole lizards. Well, I don't know if they're anoles, but they are lizards. These guys are scrappy. They'll try, like Bowie, my cat, got into a face-off with one of them, and he didn't back down. He was like doing the see, he's doing like the territorial dance, the back off, this is my house.
It's very hard to see. He's just moving a tiny bit on camera.
I'm not sure what this is. My mom could tell y'all. I don't know what it is. And I don't think she planted that palm back there. I think that grew of its own accord. And usually when you see sawtooth palms like that, it means the area is really swampy and marshy, and it's not really a good area to build a house in down here. And these were originally used by the Native Americans who lived down here for all sorts of different things, really, like fiber, rope, clothing, roofing materials. So they're really great, even in a modern day sense, as like a survival material. This over here is, I think it is like a black crepe myrtle. So when it's blossoming, so it has these black leaves. Well, they're really more like a dark red. And when it's blossoming, it has these really beautiful white blossoms. More crepe myrtles. Oh. And then finally we have some daylily buds that, I don't know, maybe under different circumstances we could have cooked and eaten them. I've never done it before, so I don't know if like on camera is really the best first time to do it, but you know, YouTube would have you think on camera is always the best first time to do it. So just hold it up so they can hear all the cicadas. And that area behind, that's just woods. This area used to be mostly woods and swamp. And it was a really peaceful place to grow up in. I used to spend a lot of time playing in the woods. Not those woods, because they're more swampy and you're more likely to get bitten by a snake. But there were woods to the other side of my mom's house that was a little bit drier, and I would play there.
Cake time?
No, it's not cake time. We've got 45 minutes to go.
Okay.
So
I didn't realize the cake wasn't happening until 8.
Cake's happening at 8. Cake's
Okay.
happening.
Well, I've got things I need to do at 8.
Ooh, okay. So, look at the egret. Oh, wow.
I think we missed it.
No, it landed in the canal.
Yeah, I saw it, but who knows if it'll still be there.
Oh, she didn't want to be messed with. I
Yeah,
understand
exactly.
that. So how's the connection? Is it okay?
Yeah, Tally says Joseph wants cake now.
He does. He's like, I've been holding it. So it's a 4-type cake. So it's chocolate, caramel, carrot cake, and red velvet. And I know Joseph wants that carrot cake. So I think you had some questions.
They're inside.
Chocolates? Oh, they're inside.
Yeah.
I'll go grab them. So y'all enjoy this peaceful, scenic southern Louisiana view. I'll be right back. Actually, Joseph, you're originally from Louisiana too. Do you feel like talking about your own Louisiana roots?
Not necessarily. I mean, they're not significantly different than yours.
We probably saw each other growing up, but we never met. We didn't meet each other until like
I'm sure
late
we
high
saw
school.
each other at an anime
Oh,
con.
at New Moreno Con?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to cosplay, so you probably saw me.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
So I didn't really know what cosplaying was when I first went to New Moreno Con, but some of my friends did, so they wanted to go to the cosplay contest. And I'm pretty sure Becca was actually in that cosplay contest. I don't think I saw it all, so I have no idea if I saw her. She definitely didn't leave a strong impression on me, but I mean, the cosplay contest wasn't for me. This was probably 16, 17 years ago. I think it was the second or third New Moreno Con, which is now a defunct convention that I think was in Lafayette. It might have been in New Orleans, Louisiana. And Becca is now back out. So we'll see what she has. Yeah, I didn't write down very much because I didn't know what the plan was.
Sure. So what I would like to do with you guys this evening, normally we would do like an art stream, right? So we might talk a little bit, I might answer some questions that you guys might have, and then we would like do an art workshop. But here in Louisiana, the internet connection is not high enough quality for me to feel confident doing an art workshop with you guys because it's going to drop out. I may not be able to get it to reconnect. The video quality might be so poor that you guys can't really see what I'm doing. So I wanted to save the things that I had planned for that for when I got back to Nashville. So this is more like plan D, E, and F.
So along those lines, I know there was some other stuff that you had planned. One of them that we talked about a decent amount was Let's Playing some Tiny People games.
Yeah, I really wanted to play Chibi Robo.
Yeah.
Like, I love that game. And I really wanted to play Pikmin. It would have been my first time playing Pikmin. I've
we've watched Pikmin.
people play Pikmin, and I played like a little bitty, like, sample size of Pikmin, and I love it. I mean, come on, what's not to love? You're little, or you control little cute flower people in a ginormous world, and they're like little cute ants, and they're carrying leaves and things. Like, what's not to love about Pikmin?
Yeah, I feel like Pikmin is the one real-time strategy game that average people enjoy. I can't think of too many people.
It's a good for everybody game.
Yeah, exactly. I can't think of too many people who will just casually play a real-time strategy, but I think most people who play Pikmin don't even realize that they're playing a real-time strategy.
I hadn't realized it was RTS. Yeah. I don't know why, I just didn't.
I mean, probably because it's cute. I can't think of many real-time strategy games that are cute.
I also wanted to, for the final countdown, originally what I wanted to do was do sketch requests again as like a big thank you. So anybody who had backed would get a sketch request. But again, with the internet connection issues, I feel like I would be cheating people who paid good money and wanted to see their sketch. So that's going to be something that I revisit when I'm in Nashville and I have a stronger internet connection.
Yeah.
What made me think of that was I wanted to open my Animal Crossing gates again, but I can't even get the Switch to connect online here. So I really want to open my town up to you guys. It was a lot of fun having you guys come and visit. That was the first time I'd ever shared my dodo code, and this will be the second time I've ever shared my dodo code. So that's gonna wait until Nashville, but that's something else I wanted to do with y'all.
So, I mean, you've also talked about wanting to do a Kara Snacks video. Is that going to be anything at all like the party that you set up inside, or was that something completely different?
So what I would really, really like to do is cook some of the stuff that I've talked about in 7-inch Kara, or similar stuff. So maybe not pickled minnows. I don't think I could bring myself to eating pickled minnows.
Okay, so actual like survival traditionalist sort
like,
of food that a tiny person might be able to make.
Or drying your own fruit. Or the thing I really want to do is make acorn flour and make something like baked bread with acorn flour.
Yeah, I'm sure someone would just give you some acorns here because most people don't do anything with acorns here.
Down here is you get two main types. You get the longer ones and then you get the little ones from Spanish oak trees. And the problem, what you trying to get?
The lighting was drowning you out.
Oh, we can move.
Wherever you want to go. I mean, this is fine.
Sure. The problem with Spanish oak acorns is they're the little orange ones. When you crack them, they're like bright orange inside. So the more orange an acorn is, the darker an acorn is, the more tannins it contains. And tannins are what make acorns taste nasty. I highly recommend you guys check out Fruit Explorer's video because he does something. He makes like an acorn brittle with acorns rather than making an acorn flour, and he describes it as like bitter pecans. So if I could get some white pine acorns, those are the lighter acorns from the white pine trees, they contain less tannins, but there's a few different ways to process acorns to leach those tannins out. Oh yeah, I'm sure I could ask almost anybody. I could go collect acorns at like the park.
Oh, just got it on.
Yep. Joko!
Okay, back on. So that was definitely my fault. I was trying to reduce the brightness on the phone, and I clicked the icon, and it brought up a bunch of menus and closed everything out.
The more you know.
So I think you were talking about Acorns Fruit Explorer.
Yeah, I also make, I don't know when I lost you guys, he does a video, he makes acorn pralines. I think that's interesting. I want to make acorn bread the traditional way. I also want to make homemade jam, like either blackberry or probably really homemade blackberry jam, to have it on the acorn bread. Because
so
preservation.
When you were
is really
talking about
important.
doing a Kara Snacks video, were you talking about eating those things or making those things or both?
So I would do the making part as a time-lapse video that premiered, and then we would eat the snacks as a live stream. So it'd be the premiere and then the live stream where we're trying the snacks. Seems like the best way to handle something that's probably very time-consuming.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you were saying you talked about the sketches that you wanted to do, but you didn't mention that you wanted to do a paint all day stream,
yeah.
did you?
I still want to do it. I don't know how feasible it is because Joseph and I have lost some pretty valuable moving time. So I'm going to try to do it, but it really kind of depends on how moving goes. But
You should say what it is.
Oh, a paint all day stream. So basically, I don't expect you guys to hang out with me all day, but I'm going to work on a painting from start until it's finished to give you guys an idea of how long the process takes, and people are welcome to come in and hang out and, you know, work on their own stuff or ask me questions.
If it was during the Kickstarter, I assume it would be Kara related. What were you planning on painting?
Kara related, like maybe her cooking or camping. I have like an in-progress illustration of Rowan taking baby Tanner and Kara and Meldina out camping, and it seems like it's going to be a cute illustration, so that would have been a cute paint all day one. But really, given how time-consuming painting multiple characters can be, it probably would have just maybe been like Kara and Pancake, or Kara and Naomi, just a couple of characters.
I also wanted to talk to you about some of the Tiny People media that you have watched, played, read, whatever.
A lot of Tiny People media. I never really realized how much of it I'd consumed until Joseph and I really talked about it a lot, you know, like I just kind of brushed off like, yeah, Tiny People, there's no special significance there, I don't really know. And then like as we talked about influences over the years. It was like, oh yeah, and that was about tiny people. Oh yeah, that was about gnomes. Oh yeah, it was about a bee girl named Maya. So do you want me to like start rattling some off? Or?
Not necessarily. So the one that comes to mind for me, specifically because it came up about 7 or 8 months ago, you put on David the Gnome. I think because it just came up on YouTube, and you seem to be in awe of how much
in a cupboard.
You were unaware that you stole from it, basically.
I love David the Gnome, yeah. Well, it was super heavily inspired. It's amazing Kara doesn't wear a gnome hat. Yeah, David the Gnome.
So when did you watch it? What do you remember about it? How much have you seen recently?
I haven't seen but 2 episodes recently, like with you. I want to rewatch all of it. That would have been something cool to do, like a non-monetized stream where we're just like hanging out and watching David the Gnome. I don't know if that's like technically cool, but it would have been fun for me. So I can't, as a little kid, I don't remember when it first came on. I just remember loving it until it went off the air when I was like 7 or 8. And it's about this old man, David the Gnome, obviously. He's a healer. He's best friends with a fox. He rides the fox to go heal animals and other gnomes. And it's really just a story about loving nature and appreciating the woods and being kind to animals and being kind to people.
And this is before cartoons were a cash grab to sell toys, right?
No, are you kidding?
Okay, so David the Gnome was to sell toys.
The FCC cracked down on cartoons about, hey, you can't be a 30-minute commercial to sell toys. But David the Gnome was either European or Japanese, so they have different priorities in terms of making children's television. But if you can find it, I highly recommend you watch it if you like tiny
Who brought it? What did you watch it on? Who brought it to America?
Nickelodeon, I think Saban Entertainment or Deep Entertainment brought it over in the 90s. I haven't seen it available on like a restored Blu-ray or DVD set. You know I would put that money down if.
And how much of the theme song do you remember? And will you sing it for us?
I'll sing it for y'all. I have to think about it. Toads and wishes and fairy kings, that talk and fish that sing. And if your heart is true, then you will find them too. With every wish and dream and happy home. I'm about to cry. I love that show.
Yeah, I've actually only seen the first 2 episodes, and that sounds familiar, so.
No.
Beautiful.
Well, I don't sing so well when my voice chokes up, but it made me want to start crying again, which shows you guys like what a big impact that had, and it really left a big mark on who I am as a person because it made me want to tell stories that made people believe in other people or made people look at animals as friends, you know, or like just made you want to go chill outside in nature and listen to the cicadas.
So I want to take this 30-minute mark to say, if you guys know anyone who would like 7-inch Kara,
you should have an hour and a half, right?
No, it's 30 minutes.
Is it really 30 minutes?
It is 30 minutes.
30 minutes until we're done, until the campaign is over.
Send them over to the Kickstarter, tell them what it's about, send them over to the stream if they seem like they need to be sold on it, and I'm sure Becca's enthusiasm.
They can see that I'm just a big-hearted, dorky woman who loves comics and tiny people. I'm a real person.
I can't type it in the chat, but I'm sure you guys have the link. It's
7inchkara.com/Kickstarter.
That's it. So...
Oh, but also, if you want to become a Lilliputian yourself, I am doing Lilliputian portraits only through the Kickstarter. It's not something I'm opposed to taking, but it's not something I offer often because it's such a niche interest. So I can turn you, your OC, your best friend, your adorable children, your nieces and nephews into tiny little Lilliputians inspired by the work I've done in Lilliputian Living and in 7-inch Kara. And I want to work with you to help you figure out what kind of Lilliputian you would be, what kind of items you would have around. For an extra $20, you can add additional characters. So if you have like 3 kids and you want to draw all 3 of them, or want me to draw all 3 of them, that would be an additional $60 for your 3 kids, but it would also mean it would be done on a larger piece of paper. And for an additional $20, I will draw your pet as a mount. So if you've got a tortoise, I'll draw your tortoise as your noble steed. If you've got a cat, if you've got a dog, if you've got a rabbit, if you've got a pet corn snake, I will draw you as a Lilliputian chilling out with your pet corn snake. I love almost all animals, minus... There aren't a lot of animals I don't love. I'm trying to think, like wasps. I don't like wasps. So suggested, I'll make it happen. If it's a goldfish, I'll draw you swimming with your pet goldfish. Anyway, you can find that and more add-ons on the update section of the Kickstarter. So could be a great opportunity to have your favorite pet memorialized.
Meme-morated. There we go. We made a new word. We will make a meme that is a memorial out of your pet.
As a Lilliputian.
As a Lilliputian.
I would draw your birds. Like my brother was on the fence. He was thinking about getting his favorite lovebird, Cashew, drawn as like a messenger bird with like the little helmet, like the goggles and messenger bags.
Yeah, my younger brother has a cat that passed away about 2 years ago.
Tux.
That he would... I think he would very much like a portrait. He'll probably get that at some point, but not necessarily during the Kickstarter.
He's family, so he gets an extended option. But unfortunately for everybody else, I'm closing that window after the Kickstarter because it helps me fulfill my Kickstarter obligations.
Yep. One thing, Tiny People Media-wise, that didn't necessarily inspire Kara because it came out much later, but I feel like you probably have things to say about it, is Hakume and Mikochi.
Yeah.
So the story...
Before that, but I'm glad it came out before that because I would have been so inspired that I wouldn't have been able to do Kara after that because I would have wanted to just...
Yeah, and you've read a lot more of it than I have, so definitely talk about the similarities there. But so the thing I want to mention is I can't remember if we were in Japan or if we were in California, but I actually found a Japanese copy of Hakume and Mikochi.
I was so
probably
psyched. He knew it was for me.
A year and a half to 2 years before it came to America, and I was like, I don't know what this is about, but it's got tiny people, so why don't you just buy it, even though I didn't speak a lick of Japanese at the time.
When I saw it in English.
Yeah.
Because I flipped through it, and I was like, the art is gorgeous, but I don't know what's going on. It's really, really good. I want to say Yen Press is putting it out. If you don't have any money and you'd like to read it, you can ask your local library to carry it. The National Public Library carries it, and I would say it's a great all-ages manga that doesn't have any, that I can think of any offensive themes. It's about the friendship between two diminutive, I don't know what they call the tiny people in that book, but the friendship between two tiny girls and the animals, the sentient talking animals who are in their lives. So it's a really beautiful...
You've read 3 or 4 volumes,
I've
right?
read 8.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
okay.
I really like it.
Okay.
The art's gorgeous. Like, beautiful
So,
painting.
how is it? I know they're smaller than the characters in Kara.
And they're all chibi.
But
so
there's
like
also, there's
babies.
Nature themes. Isn't it slightly more violent than Kara, or am I mistaken?
Well, Kara is going to have a
Some
degree of violence, unfortunately. Not person-on-person violence, but just the natural world follows its own rules.
Yeah.
No one dies, okay? Spoiler, no one dies. I couldn't do that to y'all. I wouldn't necessarily... It's more realistic in that regard. With Kara, I kind of... like, well, Pancake never hurt Kara.
You say it's magical realism,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, that
But they don't do magic
genre.
or anything. They're just tiny and there's talking animals.
Well, the magicalness of it is that there are tiny people in the world,
and
right?
talking animals.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no talking animals in Kara. Sure.
Although I'm sure people want there to be.
Well, maybe another book I do. Oh, hey, my brother came back early. Snap. He was making a big deal because he wanted to celebrate the end of the campaign with us, and he got his wish. So, I guess that works.
So that's all you had to say about Hakume and Mikochi, other than
I don't want to spoil
after people back 7-inch Kara, you should check it out.
Love this.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend you read it. If you can't afford it, request it at your library because then other people will benefit. Oh, on that note, if you enjoy Kara, it would be a huge help to me if you put in a request at your local library for the Kara you went into. I can't do that, but you can do that for me, and it really helps a small comic artist like me out. And it costs you nothing.
And you can find the ISBN for that on the Amazon page. I don't think it's listed on your shop.
Not yet.
But we could potentially... No, I mean, I don't think the ISBN is listed on your shop.
Right, not yet.
We could potentially add that, yeah. Another thing I'm not too familiar with is the Littles. I know it's incredibly popular, but...
Okay, so the Littles came on when I was real small, so I don't remember it, but every time a show about, I don't remember the name, but it was about a pink koala and a blue koala, and they had like a magic backpack that could shrink the main human girl down as well.
So I missed it.
Basically, I think I started watching anime at birth. Like as soon as I was born, I was watching Nickelodeon, and Nickelodeon was running a lot of stuff that turned out to be anime because Grimm's Fairy Tales ran, and that was anime, and it had a huge influence on my art. It is the reason I draw the way I draw, because I thought it was the most, and it's not that beautiful a show. It has like old Ghibli stank to it, if you know what I mean. Like everything's kind of rough, but it has a lot of heart. And that I thought was the most beautiful art style I'd ever seen as a young kid, so surprise!
I missed it earlier because the conversation wasn't scrolling, but Nessie said the panel dating sounds awesome. And everyone is beautiful asked what the point of this video is, which I would just say
hang out, celebrate.
Yeah, celebrate 7-inch Kara getting funded and just talk about tiny things.
To be real for a minute, it's been like a heck of a month. Like in good ways and in bad ways. We made an 8.5-hour drive to Louisiana from Nashville with a cat who did not want to be in the car.
In the middle of a Kickstarter.
In the middle of at the very beginning of the Kickstarter, so we could get married during COVID with a very limited number of people. And then my mom hit my car by accident, and I got stranded here a week longer than I planned on it. So I didn't have any of the stuff I wanted to have for the end of the Kickstarter. And the internet connection here is not great. So I don't feel confident doing an art stream with you guys because it'll cut out or the video will get fuzzy. So that's the point of the stream, to celebrate, but to celebrate using the materials we have and to make the best of a situation that has had its ups and its downs. And just to hang out. Like, you wouldn't believe how many of my streams people put on and they're drawing, they're half watching, which I love, like, but they have it on for the company. So this is for the company. I know a lot of people have been staying home and they haven't been going out and they haven't been able to see a lot of people other than their family. This is a chance to just kind of socialize with somebody who's not your mom or somebody who's not your dad. And to just feel a little bit less alone. Like when I'm working, I'll put on like makeup videos and sometimes ASMR videos just for the company while I'm drawing.
Yeah, Nessie says they're drawing their own project while watching, and hanging out with nerdy art friends is nice.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Especially because many of us are introverts. I'm an ambivert, so I do like people, but I also like to be alone. But a lot of us are introverts, but we want that social interaction. This is social interaction, again, kind of control. You can mute me when you've had enough. You can turn it off when you've had enough. You can change the music if you've had enough.
And Tally said they're glad that we are safe and that they enjoy the company.
I am sincerely really relieved. No one from our families has gotten sick yet, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, well, we did what we could. Like you said, we kept the wedding as small as possible.
We gave out masks and hand sanitizers as favors before the wedding. Yeah, we really did what we could.
And there was no Kara talk at the wedding.
There wasn't, which was hard.
So we're at 15% power. Did you want to...
Yeah, let's head inside.
I don't even know if it's streaming anymore.
Okay,
I hit the close icon.
It probably didn't, because at 15 it won't even...
Oh yeah, it's still streaming.
Okay, cool. Let's get y'all plugged in. It's also nice to just kind of share my world with y'all. I grew up here. People don't really know Louisiana. They think they do, but they don't. But it's a really beautiful place with a lot of nature and a lot of animals. And I just wanted to show you guys that. Except for this garage. The garage is a bit messy. Alright, incoming, streaming time. Incoming. Incoming. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to turn off the TV. Just holding the phone while we plug your book in.
Oh, it's upside down.
While we struggle to use the phone.
The other way? Okay.
I'll be right back. turn off the TV. I'm sorry. We tried to be outside for as long as possible.
So many treats.
Huh?
I said so
Oh, you're
many
gonna be in the
treats.
shot. Cool.
What do you mean?
I thought I turned this off. Sorry.
So you're
Also, a big shout out to my family because I am definitely intruding on their space and they've been really nice about it. So I wanted to say thank you for that and kind of acknowledge it.
So at the beginning of the stream, I think we're at 8,400 as far as
Is it time to
funding
check?
goes. I mean, I assume so.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
9
checking
minutes till 8,
40
according to
minutes.
this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's getting real close. So if I'm streaming, Deb, do you want to come join the stream?
I was gonna ask if I was joining now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, come on. Sorry, I didn't know where that was going. Okay, so you'll get to meet my younger brother. I don't think he's ever been. Joseph's showing his face. My younger brother's showing his face. Here, I'll scoot over.
I think
You
my
can-
face has been seen.
I know, but everybody thinks I made you up. They
Really?
think, yeah, they think he's a hand puppet because he doesn't like being on camera the way I like being on camera. Okay, so we are at 8,421 with 158 backers. You guys are awesome, and 7 minutes to go. So if you want to adjust your pledge, if you want to add anything to it, now is the time to do it. Devin's getting in the spirit. Yeah. I mean, that's what the hats are for. Now's the time to do it. The way we're doing the add-ons is you add that. Okay, so there's a post that talks about the additional prices for all the a la carte things like adding charms or adding postcards or adding art to your order. So you would add that to whatever tier you're at and just send me a message on Kickstarter saying you'd like to add whatever product that is. I'm currently keeping a document where I have everything written down. So when it comes time for ordering and fulfillment, I got you covered. I know Backer Kit also allows, no, you say no, that's after the Kickstarter.
Yeah,
So this is
no.
during the Kickstarter that I am offering the a la carte options.
Sure.
Yeah, and some of these things will be available after the Kickstarter, like Volume 2 will be available, Volume 1 will be available, but some of these things are Kickstarter exclusive, like the wooden charms, some of the original art that I'm going to be sending out, and any of the stretch goals. I was hoping, I mean, I'm really, really, really grateful for y'all's support. You guys do not know how nervous I was about holding my first Kickstarter, okay? Like, I had a lot of anxiety attacks over it and a lot of panic over it because it means a lot when you've been doing art education stuff for 10 years to finally ask people like, hey, this is this thing I've been making for a long time. Would you consider buying it? You know, doing it at cons, you get to meet people face to face. They can flip through it. They can see if they like it. But doing it online it feels much harder, even though Volume 1 has been part of a webcomic for a while, and I've started sharing chapters from Volume 2 as in the webcomic also. It still felt like I was asking a lot. So you guys supporting me on this has really meant a lot to me, and it's really bolstered my courage, and it makes me want to pursue other things that I've dreamed of pursuing because now I see that there might be the interest. You know, with Kara, when I first started Kara, I was at SCAD, and I had so many classmates and professors say, nobody wants to read a comic about girls to a girl. Nobody wants to read such a girly comic. I had industry professionals, fellow editors, women who were editors tell me, oh, if you made Kara a boy, people would buy this, but if it's a girl, no one's going to buy it. And I went with it because it was really important to me to create this character who is a girl, yeah, but she's adventurous and she's playful and she's got a big personality and she's got her own life going for her. And this wasn't really happening at the time. I mean, I've mentioned this like a million times, but this is right around when Smile came out. So there was like a couple of auto-bio examples, but there weren't a lot of examples of comics for all ages that had a female protagonist that focused on the friendship between two girls, Kara and Naomi, and also showed a lot of family dynamics where the parents are an important part of the story. And the secret that Kara is keeping from her parents is a major source of conflict. So I had a lot of trepidation about this project for many years because I really felt like there wasn't necessarily I felt like it belonged in the market, but I had a hard time finding people who felt that way too. So you guys supporting this has meant so much to me because I've put so many hours, I've put so many years, I've put so much love into it, so much money even just on the paints, that you wanting this book just really means a lot to me.
And so many people came out and supported you early, which is
that
really,
was crazy.
Really important
Yeah.
for Kickstarter.
Yeah, that actually, y'all's early support. Like my brother here, he was one of the day one backers. He got a sketch on that live stream. That hitting that 1/3 mark is one of the reasons why Kara became a comic that Kickstarter loved, and it got shown to a wider audience than I could have reached on my own. And all the people who signal boosted it for me, who shared my work with their audience, who told their audience, hey, I like this, you might like this, that really helps. You can help an artist without even spending any money by showing it to people who trust you. If you actually like it, being like, I read this, this is good, your kids would like this. That means a lot. It goes a long way.
Yep.
So I talked for too long. We've got 2 minutes left. We're at 159 backers. We are at 8,486. So let's aim for like 160 backers if possible, right? I mean, we're one short.
You got the confetti?
I do have confetti. No joke, I do. This was a party. I planned for this to be a party. It's a small party, but it's a party. I got noisemakers. I got confetti. I got more noisemakers. I got cake.
You might want to start handing them out.
Handing them out?
Minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Should I go get Mom?
Yeah.
You ready, Mom?
So it's also very cool that I get to celebrate this
With
with my family. I mean, one of the upsides to being here an extra week means I got to celebrate.
Should I move the
this.
camera so everybody can see us?
The way it is so people who are comfortable being on camera
Wanna be on
can be on
camera?
camera. So if you're not comfortable, that's okay. You don't have to be. Just aim your confetti into the shot.
Show us how to operate.
It is a twisty one.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, we're in seconds now. We also have the mouth
So aim it
ones.
into the camera?
Yeah, well, not onto the cake, okay? So at 60 seconds, I'm gonna start counting down, and in about 94 seconds, this will be over. I know some of you guys are so tired of hearing me talk about this. Not as tired as I am. I'm getting into it. We got all kinds of noisemakers. They're figuring it out, getting some test runs
Hey,
in.
even Bowie wants to be part of it.
Oh, where's Bowie at?
Oh, he's right there.
Bowie, come here. Would you pick him up?
Yeah, sure. Oh, boy. Here you go.
And
There's
no one to
Bo.
celebrate.
Would you like a hat?
No.
Oh, wait.
Duck out.
Bowie, would you like a crown? Bowie's the inspiration behind Pancake. So many people are like,
I'm not
oh,
gonna stay.
a cat
It's
would
not long
really not eat a tiny person. This cat would only not eat a tiny person. He would try to groom her.
Yeah. for
Yeah.
sure.
43 seconds. All right, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Look, it's even doing confetti on the page.
Oh, nice.
Mine doesn't make any noise.
You gotta blow it really hard.
That's much air coming out.
Your voice is
Now we can let Bowie not to eat it.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Now we gotta serve the cake and knock the confetti off the cake. The confetti ended up kind of cool though.
Yeah. It really looks nice on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
For
No,
sure.
don't blow.
Want me
Don't
to give them
blow.
all the
Time of
tweezers?
COVID. All right, so
You want some modeling tweezers?
No, we're gonna let people
Oh.
remove their own confetti. Can you light?
Yeah.
How are you gonna get the candles out?
What do you mean? Oh, blow them? That's a good question.
You just told me not to.
I'm sure I will find something that may or may not set the kitchen on fire to deflame straight the candles. Some quality. I like it. It's cute as all get out.
The streamies.
Yeah. That's a good little party.
I'm lucky they made it in time.
You did. I was surprised when I saw you pull up the driveway because I knew you wanted to make
Yeah.
it.
I'm the Sabo.
Are we gonna take a
That's
picture?
offline.
Great. I wonder if it like went offline
No,
while
no,
we.
harm.
Says it's still streaming.
Okay.
I just want to update the page.
Well, it hasn't been loading the chat either.
Oh.
That's close.
That's smoking.
Okay. Would somebody get a knife and some forks, and we can serve
Dig
up
in.
the cake? Yeah.
You might
dig
want
in.
to cut each piece in half.
That's what we're gonna. That's so
I
much
was
cake.
thinking that.
I think
everybody
even
Yeah,
half
thank
is
you.
Because
fine.
everybody,
Like the
everybody can have
plate.
more than one.
That's Kickstarter calling.
Yeah. Right. Congrats!
You just made your first.
I did it.
Where is it? Right there. Hello?
Nessie says we're so happy for you. So does Sean.
Oh, thank you guys.
Hello?
Let's see. Let me get caught up. Thank you so much, Holly. I really appreciate that. I am very grateful to have my brother with me. And thank you so much, Sean. And thank you, Nessie. We've worked really hard for this one. And yeah, it's been a good experience. A lot of learning, a lot of ups and downs, but not without some triumphs too.
Yeah.
All right. So Deb, would you get us a knife and some forks?
You want? Oh, you got the knives?
Voila! Et voila! Thank you. All right. So we have, I wish I could share this with you guys on the stream.
No, I got some.
Someday.
A lot of cake.
Yeah, I know, right?
Christmas, boy.
Someday we can have a real party.
Yeah, when the poppers and stuff and these are going on Port Bowie.
Oh, well, it could have been worse for him.
We got.
Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm gonna end the stream and allow us to enjoy cake without, nobody wants to watch a bunch of people eat cake. Like, this isn't a mukbang. Y'all did not sign up to watch me eat 4 different types of cake from Winn-Dixie. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you so much for your support with the Kickstarter. When I say it will be delivered by December, that is like the generous estimate. Yeah. Well, no, I think we can do it by December. I want to have this booked out by
It's a little
Christmas.
optimistic.
So, but I'll also keep in touch with everybody who backed. I mean, I'll keep in touch with y'all in general, but you guys know what I mean. Like, I'll keep you guys informed of what's going on with ordering the books and with shipping things out. And once I get back in Nashville, I will send out the link to the Kickstarter and Patreon exclusive blog where I'm going to show you guys, you know, how we advertised on Facebook and how we how we found a printer and all that kind of stuff. So all the behind the scenes
Contact the
stuff.
press.
Yeah, contacting the press and even filming a Kickstarter video using just your phone camera, which makes doing this a lot more accessible because you don't have to go buy or rent equipment.
No,
Y'all
it's
can help
complicated.
yourselves. I'm sorry.
Let me go get a cake server.
So thank you guys so much for joining me this evening and for making this possible. And hopefully I will see you guys next Saturday with an art stream. So have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.
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 Bye.